Sorry, Ben. Sorry, Ben.
Alright, race fans, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the Slidejawb Racing League here. The second race of the round for 2 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Last week was Charlotte, a very crazy race, no doubt about it. Well, tonight we bring it under the lights at a short track. The first race of the Fast Lane Racing League happened at Daytona, and I had to leave early to do this, and it was very unfortunate. It was also unfortunate that I ended up wrecking out, but it was at Daytona, so it was bound to happen. We had a pretty good turnout, a little less than 10 people, but enough that it made the race quite interesting for the most part. I will get more details on that once we get, done with that race, which I believe Taylor Butcher Benjamin is currently still racing it right now, if not still in the lead. But in any case, enough about that. We have 12 drivers entered in this race, and you can see on the bottom right of your screen the playoff standings heading into tonight's race, and these are the official standings. Hopefully, because no one is screaming at me on the Discord as of right now, that it is wrong like it was last week. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the voice chat here. I thought I turned it off, but I guess I didn't. It is very weird seeing how high my UI is right now, considering I'm a big VR driver, but this, it's a lot huger than expected. And as you can as well see, the cockpit is definitely screwed up a little bit. It's a little more zoomed out, and it looks like it looks like my point of view, kind of. So, yeah, it's gonna be difficult for us to go in cockpit camera, but you can get a glimpse of it right here. I am also using the Fox ticker for the first time in quite some time. I haven't really use this in my thing. I usually try to keep myself kind of different from everybody else. So I have to get used to all these buttons. Alright, well, the weather for tonight, air temp is at 78 at a 2-mile-per-hour north wind. We're looking forward to this race being quite extremely chaotic. 12 drivers each setting some pretty good laps here. We're expecting 12 to 15 drivers just like last week. And I got no comments. I don't know why I brought that up. I'll go ahead and we'll I do not have it around the track ready, so I can't do that for qualifying. Very unfortunate. Well, we got 30 seconds left in practice, and it looks like Benjamin Nelson is the fastest driver so far. seems like everywhere I go, whether it's commentating or whether it's actually racing with Ben Nelson, he always seems to be in the top 3. Very, very, very talented driver, if I do say so myself. What we got? Practice is over. Ben Nelson has the fastest lap. And we'll get started here with actual qualifying here. And it does look like my broadcast is stuttering a little bit, so I could probably fix that. I don't exactly know what would be the cause of the stuttering. I don't know what would be the cause of the stuttering problem, but we're going to do a little bit of switching up stuff right now. Hopefully that'll fix the stuttering, because it's not dropping any frames on my end. Looks like a slideshow, doesn't it? I don't know if that's on. I don't know. I'm trying to fix it because it's not showing. It's not being this bad on my end, so it may be my iRacing. But I'll turn up the video bitrate. See if that does anything. Or it may just be my computer just taking a nice, just probably not being a nice guy. Which is, if it's happening for you, just let me know and I'll see if I can fix it. But I don't know if it's that or not. So my iRacing looks to be fine right now. Ben Nelson has the pole, by the way. We still have 3 minutes left, so I'll pop on to settings here and yank this. Because I'm keeping at 84 frames, which, that's what everybody wants me to have, so, yeah. Round goes Ben Nelson. Whoa. Still got 2 minutes left here, and Ben Nelson has the pole. Caden Atkins in second, 2/10 off. So definitely Ben Nelson is a faster driver here. So he'll probably be one of the drivers that we're going to be looking at a lot tonight up at the front of the field. Let's see. Let's actually take a look at some of the playoff contenders that are actually in this race so far. Alright, Keith Calhoun is in this race tonight. He is 6 points ahead of everybody else. Darren Clement sits in the 4th place spot, so he's in here as well, trying to get some points. Zach Probst is in here as well, and William Ahmad is in here as well. So the 4 drivers that are currently in, making it into the round of 4, are in. Caden Atkins, who sits 1 point behind the cutoff line, is in this race in second. Noah Maury he's 5th right now on the board. Lucas Cram is not here, as well as William Martin. So 6 out of the 8 playoff drivers are in this session so far. Well, qualifying is about ready to conclude. We will get ready to get to the grid here. 15 seconds remaining. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes qualifying here. Let's go ahead and bring up the grid, shall we? I can't turn off this ticker. That sucks. Oh, yes, I can. Alright, here we go. On the pole for today's race, Ben Nelson. And starting at second on the outside of row number 1, Kane Atkins. Let's see if I can find Ben Nelson here so I can focus on him real quick. Give me one moment. There we go. Alright. Row number 2, William Amon will start in 3rd. Starting 4th, Darren Clements. Noah Murray will start in 5th place. Zach Probst in 6th. Jacob Tyler May, will start 7th. And I already forgot who started in 9th. Let me go back and do that again. Alright, Tom Evans will start 8th. Sorry about that. Running in 9th, Keith Calhoun. Charles Boggs will start in 10th. And that'll round out the field that qualified. Even though we have plenty more drivers on this list as well that are going to be on here as well. "200 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway. It is going to be quite the race, I will say so myself. As the pace car rolls off, we'll get set to go racing here. Alright, Ben Nelson in that sexy Tony Stewart 79 ski will get set to go racing here. Ben Nelson is an A class. Surprised he's not in Pro class with how talented he is. But we will get this show on the road here, which I believe they're going to do just this one pace lap, and then they'll be down pit road if I remember correctly. Nope, looks like we're doing another one. Alright. Well, 79 degrees air temperature. Track is going to be very, very slick. Top line is going to be chosen all throughout tonight. We have 14 drivers getting set to go racing here. And we will go ahead, drop the green flag for the second race of round of 2. The drivers that you see on the bottom right of the screen, 6 out of the 8 are here. Green flag out. We are racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Great start by Ben Nelson. He'll quickly take the lead. Kane Atkins in second, holding on, trying to hang on, keep the momentum alive. Try to battle Ben Nelson, try to get him on the outside here. Got some drivers coming off of pit lane. That is actually Lucas Cram. So 7 out of the 8 playoff contenders are here. Lucas Cram joins in on the mix. He joined in a little late at Charlotte. He's joining in a little late here. But if caution comes out relatively early, and he'll be able to get the lap back. He's only 1 lap down. He'll be able to get on the little lap if we ever get a caution early in the race. I can't tell if the stream is a slideshow or not. They're gonna have to. Kane Atkins making a move. We got a spinner, and I think that's Zach Probst. Yes, that was Zach Probst, but he keeps it nice and clean, keeps it straight. Does have damage though, but that could have been a whole lot worse. Michael Berry in 64, he's in the wall as well. So much action going on early on. Kane Atkins, Derek Clements, two playoff contenders battling for the lead here. A win will get them instantly into the next round, which is the round of 4, the championship 4. Side by side for the lead, Kane Atkins, a playoff contender, trying to get underneath Ben Nelson. Ben Nelson trying to do what he did last week, which is spoil the playoff contenders race here. Darren Clements moves on up to the second spot. Now he looks to the inside and turns 3A and 4. Will he be able to close in on him, make the pass for the lead? He leads this lap, but he's probably not. He's gonna have a hard time trying to pass him, because that outside line is the preferred line here. But they're still side by side for the lead. This 3-car battle consists of 2 playoff contenders. Ben Nelson hangs on for the lead in that lap. Kane Atkins on the outside, behind Ben Nelson, trying to pass him in case one of them slips up. Got a slow car. That's gonna make a gap between Ben Nelson and Darren Clements. Ben Nelson uses that inside line. Darren Clements trying to pass Ben Nelson here. So far, this hasn't been what Ben Nelson last week at Charlotte had pretty much the same race as he's had right now. He was up at the front pretty much all race long, but there were a couple caution out on the speedway. Caution is out on the speedway. Looks like Michael Berry involved. Back and look. No, he was down pit road. Who was involved? Oh, that'd be Charlie Boggs. Oh my God, got loose and got loose on the exit. He has a lot of damage, so he must have gotten into a wreck earlier in the race, and that'll put Lucas Graham back into the on the lead lap. All right, got people down pit road. Lucas Graham gets the lucky dog. He'll be able to get back on the lead lap. So 7 out of the 8 playoff contenders are in this race tonight. The only one that won't be is William Martin. Ben Nelson will win him off pit road. Kane Atkins in 2nd, and Darren Clements 3rd. Keith Calhoun 5th. Lucas Graham being shown as the leader, but he'll be coming down pit road. I know it's only been 15 laps of racing, but those 15 laps have hurt tires. They hurt tires. So we'll see what happens on this restart here. All right. So while we are under pacing, we'll go ahead and step aside for just a moment. We'll be back in a minute. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. The Slidejawb K&N Series, the Saturday Night Late Models, whichever one they would like to be preferredly called. This is their 2nd race of the round of 2. Instead, it should say round of 8 / round number 2. So I'll quickly fix that. That is my mistake. It's either round 2 or round of 8. And since it's going to be the round of 8, so that is my mistake. It's not the round of 2, because Obviously, you can see on the bottom right of the screen that there are 8 drivers in the playoff contention, and so on and so forth. Ben Nelson has elected the inside lane, so we'll see where that gets him, because he was using the inside lane a little bit once he got cleared of all the massive competition, so we'll see what this brings to the table for Mr. Nelson here. As we're getting set to go back racing here, Ben Nelson gonna lead them off to the green flag. So we get this back underway. Pace car's off, and Ben Nelson, huge jump, quickly inserts the dominance. Nobody within a second of him already. Second place, Kane Atkins trying to trace him down. Looks like on the short run, Ben Nelson is just not up to speed with everybody else. As you can see, that gap was just a second when we restarted. Now it's less than half a second. So half a second lead between Ben Nelson and Kane Atkins. Kane Atkins still half a second behind Ben Nelson. Ben Nelson's led all 22 laps so far in today's race. Get a bit of the action here using the cockpit camera. It is a little screwed up, but like I said, I am a VR headset driver, so none of these camera angles are, except the TV cameras, and basically all the other camera angles except this one, is you know, fine. This camera angle is the only one that's screwed up. Sadly. Get a good glimpse of the banking and stuff like that on this camera here. This track is basically Dover, but the banking is not as high as Dover. It's incredibly tight to run this track. And Kane Atkins is slowly but surely catching up to Ben Nelson here. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it was Ben Nelson that just recently won the Nork Championship. If I remember correctly. You can see the gap really closing down from this angle. Kane Atkins is Ben Nelson has been using the bottom, and Kane Atkins has been using the top. Now, will we see Ben Nelson use the top? Because it looks like Kane Atkins has been using the top lane more, and it's helping Caden more of catching up to Ben. Now, Ben Nelson uses the outside line, so Ben can actually use the outside line whenever he can, but it's going to be very, very difficult for Kane Atkins to pass him when Ben Nelson is going to be blocking that outside lane, because Ben Nelson does run the inside when he's alone, but when he has a challenger behind him, it looks like he'll be able to run that outside. Now Kane Atkins shoots to the bottom of the track, but that is where Caden is going to draw back a lot, because the inside line very seldom, however you say it, will succeed in attempting to pass. Because you saw when Ben Nelson was on that inside lane, he was barely hanging on to the lead after that. That common saying goes, catching him's one thing, passing him is another. And that's what's happening right now between Kane Atkins and Ben Nelson. It's going to be hard to pass Ben Nelson once you already catch Because Kane Atkins has caught up to him, but he's not being able to get an opportunity to pass him, and that's just because all the momentum that Ben Nelson gets coming out of the corners is not what Kane Atkins has. And when Kane Atkins does have some momentum, Ben Nelson will be able to easily close that momentum. Here's your top 5 as they are currently running. Kane Atkins in second, Darren Clements third. Now switched place with William Ahmad, who now moves up to third, and Lucas Cram in fifth. 4 out of the 5 drivers in this list right now, in the top 5, are playoff drivers. The only one that is not is Ben Nelson. Kane Atkins has dropped down to second place. Or not dropped down to second place, he dropped down to over a second and a tenth. So some must have happened with Kane a couple seconds ago to drop him a couple spots. So now over a second and 3/10 lead for Ben Nelson over Kane Atkins. Derek Clements sits third, William Ahmad in fourth. There's Lucas Cram in fifth. He started this race from pit road, went a lap down, caught that early caution that brings him up to fifth. Keith Calhoun in sixth, Zach Probst in seventh, Noah Mari in eighth, Michael Berry ninth, and Jacob Tyler May in 10th. And the only other car on track is Charlie Boggs, but he is sitting off the track 16 laps down. Kane Atkins now with a 2-second lead over, no, Ben Nelson with an over 2-second lead over Kane Atkins. Jesus. Ben Nelson is one of those more talented drivers on iRacing. Probably underrated considering, you know, he's won the Nordic Championship. He's basically done almost everything you want him to do. You know, he's dominating in a field that he's not in the playoffs for, not in contention for the championship, you know. And as a driver, you know, there are 2 ways you can go about with... Oh! Alright, before we get into that, it's like Darren Clements got himself turned around. Let's look back at that real quick. Coming out of, I think it was, yep, the front turn forward, just scraped the wall and bashed it into it. So we are 1/4 of the way, close to being 1/4 of the way done, and one of the championship contenders is around on the front straightaway. Heavy contact with that inside wall. Well, no doubt we will be seeing everybody come back down pit road under this yellow flag. Well, what I was going to say was, as a driver, okay, if you're not in contention to win the championship, it could either affect you in 2 ways depending on how your driving style is. It can affect you and, you know, you're not racing for anything, so you can race aggressively. You know, just as long as you don't ruin the playoff contenders' days, you'll be fine with racing up at the front, you know, making it difficult for the playoff contenders to, you know, to advance into the next round or get enough points to make it into the next round. Okay? Now, obviously, for most cases, the driver who is, you know, kind of like what Ben Nelson's doing, he's not going to let these playoff contenders just go by when he has a superior car. He wants them to try and pass him and make it, you know, a nice battle. Because there's 8 drivers in this round, 7 of them in this race. That makes up, we have what, 10 drivers on the field? That makes up 70% of this field, okay? Ben Nelson is going to be that one stick that 1/10% of this field he's one of those he's one of the 30% of the drivers that are not in the playoffs in this race right now that, you know, could potentially come away with a victory today. And we're going to be seeing a lot more aggressive racing once we get into the final race of the season. Now, if I remember correctly, it's either next week is going to be the final race, or this race is the final race. I'm not entirely sure on that. Alright, so we got the one to go here. Yeah, but basically what I just said, what Ben Nelson's doing, he's not letting these playoff contenders go down without a fight. He did the exact same thing that he's doing right now last week at Charlotte, and he's doing it again tonight. And he's hopefully going to come home with another win tonight. But he still has 148 laps to go. Pace car is off. There goes Ben Nelson back to doing what he did on the last restart to get that incredible jump on the field. I got a battle for second brewing up here with Caden Atkins and Lucas Graham. Lucas Graham started in pit road, one lap down. He's battling for the second spot. And now we actually kind of have a battle for the lead. Caden Atkins is going to try looking low underneath Ben Nelson. Oh, we have a spinner, and oh no. Got a couple spinners here. That was the 10 car. It looks like, oh, Zach Probst that took out half of the field. Zach Probst. Let's look again here. We're on Zach Probst here. He hits the fence. Ouch. Seeing if anybody else was involved. I know William Alman was in it, but I don't know if the 8 car of Noah made it through or not. No, he does get some damage, and I think Michael Berry also got damage as well. So there's a ton of drivers that got damage in that incident. Look at it one more time. Overdrove the exit, it just, oh man. The 18 was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Back under caution here again. Get the race summary up. So we've had 3 cautions today. We have 143 laps to go with 2 lead changes. And this is the 3rd caution of tonight. Well, I can tell you that, you know, for the drivers behind Ben Nelson, they seriously want to have a green flag run, you know, because they're getting sick and tired of just running a couple laps and then caution coming out, and they're not having a chance to pass Ben Nelson. But also maybe they aren't wanting to get a caution or a long green flag run. Maybe they like these cautions. I know especially Lucas Graham does, because you know it gives him an opportunity to get the lead that he probably wouldn't of if we continue to go green. But I don't know how these drivers think. Okay, as a driver myself, I would like this race to continue to go green if I was up at the front of the field, like battling in the top 3 with these drivers. But if I'm like in the back of the field, then obviously I want more cautions, so that way I could, you know, make my car better and somehow make it faster, somehow, some way. So obviously different drivers think alike, or different drivers think differently. Sorry, it's, what time is it? 9:30, 10 o'clock? Yeah, 10 o'clock. So I am extremely tired. And it looks like we're getting the one to go mark. We'll get set for this restart. Now, the one thing that I've noticed about Ben Nelson is his jump that he keeps getting, and when people need to time it correctly, because, you know, I don't think a lot of these, the reason why these drivers can't catch Nelson as quick is because they don't time this restart perfectly. Just like that. Pace car went down, and Ben Nelson quickly jumps out again. Anybody who starts behind Ben Nelson has to realize when he's going on these restarts, which is just as soon as the pace car smacks down to the bottom of the track. But Lucas Cram has caught up to Ben Nelson. It's like Ben Nelson just doesn't have the short run speed, like we said before, because every time we've had this happen, every restart that we've had, Ben Nelson always has his challenger try to take the lead away relatively quick. Now the thing is, you know, can Lucas actually pass him? Because we haven't really had any playoff contenders lead this race. We've had a couple that have led a lap, none that have really so much led more than one. Lucas Cram putting the Intimidator style out to Ben Nelson. He almost had a little bit of contact with Nelson on the rear end, but it didn't phase Nelson. Now Lucas Cram is on that outside, the preferred line. Lucas Cram, will he be able to pass him? Yes, he does. Lucas Cram to the point. Now the other thing is trying to keep it, because Ben Nelson has the long run speed. Well, we'll see what happens after this, but Lucas Cram is able to get back into, well, not get back, he was able to pass Ben Nelson for the lead, and now this is something I thought I would never see happen. Somebody pulling away from Ben Nelson. Unbelievable. Alright, so Lucas Cram is out on the point right now, leading several laps already, and he's pulled away from Ben Nelson. Now, if you remember, we started this thing saying that there were 7 out of it. No, there were 6 out of the 8 of the current playoff drivers in this race, and now we have 7 out of the 8, but we also have a couple drivers out, as well as the 8 of Noah Mari gets just loses it out of the corner. So it looks like that's what we're seeing a lot, is drivers just abruptly losing it. So that may be an issue with the setups they run. If the car is just too loose, it's very difficult. I got drivers down pit road. Lucas Cram down pit road. Yeah, I don't know why my thing is just becoming like a slideshow or whatever. It's not. You know, I'm not dropping frames on my end. I don't know. Alright. It's going to be a battle off pit road. Looks like Lucas Cram will just barely nudge off Nelson. So Lucas Crayer will be back in the lead here. Pull the race summary. Okay, well, never mind. Alright, well, we'll just pull this up. So Lucas Crabb, he is sitting 12 points out so far. If he gets the win tonight, that'll shape-shift the playoff standings so much. Because, you know, we've seen a lot of playoff drivers already get involved in several incidents tonight, and Cade Atkins is sitting 1 point out of the picture. And Zach Prost and William Amon, the two drivers that were above Caden, they're out of the race. They have left the building, so there's only 6 drivers left on track right now. So we'll have a restart here in just a couple laps. And when we get this restart, we're going to see what Lucas Crabb will do. Alright. Well, we got the 1 to go mark. We'll get set to go back racing here. We'll see what this restart brings to the table for Lucas Crabb. He takes the inside line. We'll see what happens. Pace car will shoot down pit road here. Lucas Crabb is going to wait for the green flag, making it nice and fair for many drivers. And top 2 split away just like that. Side by side for the lead. Almost contact with each other. Oh my God, Ben Nelson in the wall! And the 8 of Noah Murray also spinning around. Noah Murray again spinning out of control. Exactly the same thing that we saw just a couple laps ago. That brought out the caution, and Jacob Tyler gets some damage as well. Oh man. Crazy turn of events just pulled up here. Ben Nelson gets damage. Very dominating driver in the first 50 to 60 laps. He was now in the fence. Now has significant damage to his right side, making that car, it's going to be extremely tight, no doubt about it. He'll be down pit road, so he'll have fresh tires, which could be quite an advantage. Not the biggest advantage in the world, but still an advantage nonetheless. Alright, still have 121 laps to go. 7 lead changes, 5 cautions. You only have 6 drivers on the lead lap. Probably going to be 5 here in a couple minutes. We still have 9 drivers, right? Yeah, still have 9 drivers on the track. Technically 8, because Charles is still sitting on pit road. Who was it? I know I did a race once. Oh yeah, it was the Drive for Suicide Prevention's race. They were doing, I think it was Williams' car, was just sitting on pit road, and I said that he got the fastest pit crew award because he was sitting on pit road for like 60 something minutes, 69 minutes if I remember correctly. Well, we will certainly get back racing here in just a couple of moments. So it does look like Lucas Cramp can have a good restart here. We'll just see what he can do this time. He'll have Kane Atkins, Michael Berry, Keith Calhoun, and Ben Nelson will round out your top 5. Ben Nelson will no doubt be back up in the front in no time. The fastest lap of the race is a 14.404 set by actually 2 drivers. They had the exact same lap time for the best lap, Zach Probst and Jacob Tyler May. Huh. Very convenient. Alright. We'll get Lucas Cram going here. You'll be controlling this restart. "83 laps will be completed when we get set to go back racing here. 2 drivers on the outside line, the rest are on the inside. Pace car is off, green flag back in the air. Lucas Cram quickly slots into the outside lane because the outside line is a most definite preferred line. It's just 5 drivers on the lead lap. Kane Atkins is slowly but surely catching up to Lucas Cram. It looks like whoever the leader always has like terrible short run speed, but I don't think Lucas Cram is. I think Lucas Cram has some pretty good short run speed. I think the person who doesn't have the greatest short run speed is Ben Nelson. He'll have more of a long run speed once we get more settled into this run. I'll definitely put that prediction out there. Alright, so Lucas Cram has it over 1 second lead over Michael Berry. This is a battle for second. He's able to hang on for a second, and Kane Atkins is going to try and get that position back. Now remember that Lucas Cram is in the playoffs, so drivers that are not in the playoffs are definitely going to be beating and banging past one another to try and get to the lead, because obviously if Lucas wins this race, he's moving on to the championship race. It'll most definitely cause a lot of chaos heading into next week, because so many drivers could be, knocked out of the playoffs if Lucas Cram wins today's race. Those 4 drivers you see that are in currently, they could potentially be out. Could just shapeshift. Next thing you know, William Martin will be in the championship race. Oh, Michael Berry hits the wall hard. I think Kane Atkins may have done the same thing because they are dropping back a lot. You see, yeah, Michael Berry. Yeah, well, I said this last week. You can make a compilation of the amount of times Michael Berry hits the wall, and that is why he is nicknamed Michael Hits the Wall Berry. Not a lot of people believe me when I say that that's what he's nicknamed in the Discord, unless they're from the Discord. And Kane Atkins is chasing him down a little bit. I don't know if it's my CPU that's causing this or not, but I don't know. There's only I'm actually looking at this right now. There's only 25 minutes left in the server, so we're not gonna be going 200 laps. We're gonna be going 25 minutes. Because we're just hitting the halfway point and we're only 25 minutes into this. So, oh, by the way, Ben Nelson just took 3rd place, so he's coming. Here, I'll pull this up here. My timing screen, if you look right next to where the lap counter is, it says 25 minutes remaining. That's how I know that we're gonna be. This race is not gonna be ran all the way. I made that mistake when there was Indy cars at New Hampshire. That race went timed and not laps, and that caught me so off guard. And I didn't know what happened. I thought the guys just called it, just said screw it, called it, but no. So we'll have 24 minutes left in this session, currently 24 and a half. So if you want to get a countdown clock going, that would be nice. I can actually pull up a countdown clock, so I don't have to continuously look back. Alright. So we're at 23rd. Alright, I'm getting this set up here. Ben Nelson is behind Lucas Crabb by only a little less than 4 seconds, or a little over, excuse me. Alright. Alright. We have 23 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. And basically, if you've ever ran an endurance race where it's been close on time, you'll know that that's how it's going to be here tonight. And no matter what lap it is, it'll turn white and then it'll become checkered flag. So if Lucas Crabb is extremely close to the line, and the timer reaches 0 and he crosses the line, then it'll be a quick white flag. I also have to look at some real quick. Yeah, you can see right here. Oh, wait. Says remaining time is 45 minutes. Never mind. I don't know what in the world my thing is saying. Never mind, that's my mistake. My mistake. We are going to run this thing basically to the green. I figured we were going to run it to time because that's what my race clock was saying, but I guess my race clock is being stupid. Because of course it was my mistake. I always make one major mistake every race, and that was it today. Thinking that this race was going to go green to a clock, not green to laps or whatever. You know what I mean. Well, Lucas Crabb is out to now a second and a half, so you remember when I said about long run speed being the advantage to Ben Nelson? Yeah, that prediction's correct because he's tracking him down from over, what, 4.5 seconds? He's tracking him down. Okay, that is not a good camera angle. Now it's going to be down to less than a second here in a couple minutes. Lucas Crabb wishes that this race wouldn't finish on laps, finish on time. Lucas Crabb could possibly lead the most laps and get the most points, which would most laps led points, which would help him out tremendously. It's going to be very difficult to do that. Ben Nelson has led 65 laps. Lucas Cram has led 50. So, well, Ben Nelson has tracked him down. Now the other thing is passing him. A slow car in the way, and Lucas Cram's going to try and use him as a pick. And it won't work. Now here comes Ben Nelson. Oh, bumper to the back of the 44. We got a battle for the lead on our hands, guys. Last time that these two battled, the 79 was in the fence. Lucas Cram and Ben Nelson side by side for the lead. Ben Nelson ain't giving up, and nor is Lucas Cram. Now Ben Nelson, once again, back to the lead here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now Lucas Cram has fallen back almost a full second. Those fresh tires, even though those fresh tires were what, like just a couple laps old or whatever. Let's take a look at the stints real quick. Yeah, nine laps. Yeah, that's still a long time. So it was no surprise that Ben Nelson got back out to the lead as quick as he did. Because, yeah, it did take some time, but like I said, he doesn't have the greatest short run speed, because whenever he had those restarts where he jumped out to a second and a half, it was quickly closed, you know. Whoever was in second at the time, like Lucas Cram or Kane Atkins, they'd be right up to his back bumper in like just a couple of quarters, and then, you know, it would have to rely on Ben Nelson blocking, closing the gap, and doing that other stuff in order to increase the gap once again. And, you know, now look at Ben Nelson now. He's pulled away from Lucas Cram by over 3.5 seconds. And it's not anything that Lucas Cram is doing wrong. It's just what Ben Nelson's been doing right. Yeah, Lucas Cram is now over 4 seconds behind Ben Nelson. Ben Nelson is just completely gone from everybody here, as he's just lapping the field here. Only 3 drivers left on the lead lap. And the gap is just going to continue to gain and gain and gain. Yeah, like I said, if I remember correctly, Ben Nelson won the NORC championship just last Tuesday. So, you know, Ben Nelson is definitely a very, very talented person. He would not let a scrape on the wall hurt his day or whatever. And we may see some green flag pit stops a little while, so we'll see what that does. But unless a caution comes out, I'm pretty sure that these guys will have to make green flag pit stops. If a caution does come out, we will not have that happen. It's just one thing that I've noticed a lot about these cars tonight is just they keep getting loose off of the exits of the corners. I think we saw that like twice, where we had a driver clip the apron and around they went. So, well, we'll go ahead and take it through the field here. Ben Nelson has a 6.5 second lead over Lucas Cram, leading 80 laps. He started first. He led like 60 laps, and then Lucas Cram took the lead away, and then Ben Nelson got into the wall. and he was able to get back from 5th place all the way up to 1st place in just a few laps. Now the real challenge is trying to stay in the lead with all this chaos happening right in front of him. Keep an eye on him for just a couple moments here, and it looks like Michael Berry is going to go a lap down here in a couple seconds. It looks like that's Derek Clements ahead of him, Jacob Tyler May ahead of him. They're side by side ahead of our leader of Nelson. And yep, you can see the 64 coming into the frame there. He'll be going a lap down, making it just Nelson and Lucas Graham, the only 2 drivers that are on the lead lap, which may also just be Ben Nelson on the lead lap. But we'll go ahead and we'll take it to Lucas Graham. Led 52 laps after the incident that took Ben Nelson out of the picture just for a split second. Ben Nelson is still in second. He started all the way in the back of the field. He started 1 lap down. That after the first caution came out, got his lap back. He was able to head up into second, led a lot of laps, and is in contention to be the highest playoff driver on the leaderboard. And Charles Boggs just came out of the pits. He is 114 laps down. And now Lucas Graham is down pit road. So it looks like he'll be repairing damage. Michael Berry sits in 3rd place. He started 14th, and he's now up to the 2nd spot after Lucas Graham went down pit road. Michael Berry has had quite the day so far. You know, like I said, you can make a compilation of all the times he's hit the wall, you know. Same situation as the last week where it came to Michael Berry. He was in 2nd, but he just couldn't get anywhere close to the leader because he just kept hitting the wall and kept damaging his car. So and it looks like I picked Kane Atkins in 3rd. He was up at the front basically all day today, and he's just fallen back a little bit, but he sits 3rd. Keith Calhoun 4th. Lucas Graham 5th. Noah Murray in 6th. He spun out a few times, getting loose, but I think he was able to hang on to it now. Derek Clements sits 7th, 3 laps down. Jacob Tyler May in 8th place, 53 laps down. William Ahmad in 9th place. Zach Prost 10th place, and Charles Boggs sits 11th. And now our leader, Ben Nelson, is down pit road. And we're getting close to the 50 laps to go mark. It's going to be very hard to keep Ben Nelson out of the lead here, and especially now considering he is what? The only person on the lead lap? Him and Lucas Graham are. One caution could change everything. There goes Michael Berry trying to get a lap back. But I think Ben Nelson's going to quickly deny that. I don't think Lucas Graham has went down pit road yet. Oh yeah, he has. He went down a little earlier than Ben Nelson did, so now he's now 3.5 seconds behind. He got up a lot of time, but it's not enough. And with Nelson having the new tires, he's gonna lose a lot of time. $50 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Say it's another one of those dominating races by Ben Nelson, because that's what it is today. Even though Lucas Graham led some laps, led a quarter of the race, Ben Nelson he's on track to leading the other 3/4 of tonight's race. If I can be honest, I do prefer my other setup with the RSR. But the only reason why I chose this is because I wanted to be a little different, see what the Fox ticker was like again. And now I remember why I went to the one that I usually use, because that one was a little more simpler. And the caution's out, and as you can see, Charles was around. Him and Darren Clements get into it. So that will make it only 3 drivers on the lead lap for this next restart. Everybody will be coming down pit road. Well, everybody that's on the lead lap will be coming down pit road. And Michael Berry will be put back on the lead lap. Everybody that'll get a wave around will be back to 1 lap down, except for Noah Murray and Darren Clements, who are going to be 3 laps down. Alright, so while we are under caution, we'll take another quick break here. We'll return in just a few moments with more of the Slidejawb Racing Series Saturday night late model series here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll be back in a moment. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get set to go back racing here. And Ben Nelson will take the restart here. But he will not have Lucas Cram anywhere in his sights, so that'll help him out, especially when he gets this restart jump that everybody knows was coming up. There goes the pace car. Got the green flag waving. It's going to be very difficult for Lucas Cram or Michael Berry to catch up to Ben Nelson with that jump. Oh, speaking of that, we got a huge wreck. I think Darren Clements is still barrel rolling to this day. Ouch. Let's see what happened there. Yeah, oh, that's a big hit. Darren Clements was underneath Lucas Cram. Lucas Cram was going to go underneath him, and they both get into it with each other. And 2 of the drivers that were on the lead lap get involved in that one, and that one was a very scary ride. Can we get another look at that from the cockpit camera of Darren Clements, since that one was a pretty fun joyride? Who was it a couple weeks ago, or who was it last week, that ended up flipping into the infield at Charlotte? I can't remember who it was. I think it may have been Darren. No, because Darren got third. Oh man, oh man. Just a quick 1-2 barrel roll. You honestly couldn't tell that exit there because that camera is pretty stretched out. Got 40 laps left. A little less than 40 laps left. 33 laps left. Or 37, excuse me. Alright. 7 cautions so far today. And we will get set with this next restart here, which should be with 36. No, it'll be 34 or 35 to go. So if we get a long green flag run, and we'll see what Lucas can do. Alright, so here we got pit stops here. See Clements just increasing and increasing. That's a pretty hard lick. Alright, well we got the one to go here. And the top 3 that are on the lead lap are going to be top. Well, actually, there's 4 drivers on the lead lap. Kate Atkins is the other driver on the lead lap. But since he got the lucky dog, he will be at the end of the longest line. So it'll just be 3 drivers up here. They bunch up. Pace car taking that left turn in 3, 2, 1. There it goes. And oh wow, that was some great strategy by Ben Nelson. You saw Lucas Cram actually hit the gas a little early because he knew Ben Nelson was going to hit it early, but he hit it a little too early and he had to let out. Because usually Ben Nelson at the time would have been like Lucas Cram, just gassed it there. Great. That was, if that was intentional, that was great. If that was unintentional, then, well, that helped. So Ben Nelson has a not so big lead that he usually would have on these restarts. Lucas Cram, but just less than 0.5 of a second of a gap. He's trying to close it because Ben Nelson doesn't have the greatest of short run speeds. He has more of a long run speed, and Lucas Cram knows that. So he's trying to close the gap before Ben Nelson reaches that long run point. 30 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Lucas Cram knows that if he doesn't get this win, he may not be able to race for the championship. So he needs to get up into this front and win this race because I think they're at Phoenix next week, and I don't know if he'll have a huge shot. Gonna try whatever he can here. He's gonna be side by side for the lead here when they end into turn number 1. You saw Ben Nelson having a little wiggle, and that little wiggle will give Lucas Cram the lead. So Lucas Cram back up into the front. Yeah, there's no way he's going to be able to lead the most laps now. Lucas Cram hanging on for the lead. You'll be able to continue to lead more laps. Most laps he can lead is 80 laps. Basically 79, 80 laps. But when Ben Nelson has that car warmed up, the tires warmed up, the handling's where Nelson wants it to be, you better watch out, because Ben Nelson's going to be spoiling this party more than anybody else in the playoffs want Nelson to, so I don't know. All Lucas Cram wants is this win, because if he can get this win, it'll be very, very well earned. Now here comes Ben Nelson. He's closing the gap a little bit. Lucas Cram is opening the door to the inside, which is helping out Nelson, because Nelson is a big inside lane runner until he gets up to him, and then he'll be more likely running the inside lane to pass him, and then once he passes him, he's going to be able to run that outside lane again. Here he comes. He's going to drive it to the bottom. Lucas is holding up Nelson a lot. This is for Lucas to have a shot at the championship. Nelson's not in the playoffs, and Nelson wants to win this race so he can get another win in the books. Don't know if it would be his whatever in a row, second in a row, or who knows. Ben Nelson looking underneath, can't get him. Coming down to the wire here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Top two are just inches apart from each other, separated by less than a couple car lengths. Ben Nelson trying to pass him. He looks low. Ben Nelson looking low. Darren Clements ahead of these guys. Teammates gonna help each other out. Ben Nelson and Darren Clements are teammates. Cram looks low underneath Darren Clements, which will give the opportunity for Ben Nelson to look low. They touch. Oh man, it's getting intense. Ben Nelson trying to get the lead back from Lucas Cram. Lucas Cram slips up a little bit, but he still hangs on for the lead. Ben Nelson tries to get the lead, but he can't. That inside lane is losing all the grip that it once had. Lucas Cram trying to hang on to win this race to get him into the championship 4. He's got heavy traffic ahead. 2 cars battling side by side with each other. Don't know if they'll be able to hang on. It looks like they'll keep it separated. We'll see what happens when they get to him. Ben Nelson sneaks underneath to the inside. Can't get to him. Almost side by side out of that corner. They're going to be dead even when they come into this corner because Lucas Cram slips up a little bit. Side by side for the lead once again. This lap traffic is going to be a big factor on determining who's going to win this race. Oh, Lucas Cram gets into Charles, and that'll give the advantage to Nelson. Oh man, Lucas Cram loses the lead, and we have 10 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Lap traffic deciding the factor of this race. It's not over yet though, but Ben Nelson will be able to pull away just a little bit because he does have that long run speed. After that little contact between Lucas Cram and Charles Boggs, Ben Nelson has pulled away from Lucas Cram by over a second. Lap traffic deciding the factor of this race. Lucas Cram is going to have to race his way harder than ever next week. Although he is going to finish as the highest running chase contender, He's going to get the most points that he can. He led laps and he's going to finish second. He's not going to be a guarantee. He's not going to be guaranteed into the chase. He's going to have a clean race next week. However, there's still a chance with this lap traffic. It's going to be very difficult for this lap traffic to really hold up Ben Nelson because Lucas Graham is having a hard time catching Nelson. Over 2.5 seconds already with 5 laps to go. That's going to be hard to catch him. Nelson is going to need to slip up some way, somehow. Alright, just a couple laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It looks like it'll be Ben Nelson once again taking home the checkered flag. 2 to go. Next time by will be the white flag. And just like that, white flag in the air here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ben Nelson coming into turn number 1. Dominated this race. He's going to lead 131 laps. He had to battle with Lucas Cramp, but tonight, Ben Nelson takes the checkered flag here at Bristol. Good race for Ben Nelson for the second week in a row, to my knowledge. He will take home the checkered flag winning this race. Could be more than 2 in a row, knowing me. And he's going to burn it down here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Alright. Trying to see if I can get stuff set up for I've had Nelson burning it down here, but let me get stuff set up for interviews and stuff. Alright. Go ahead and bring up our winner here, Ben Nelson. Ben Nelson's Taylor, do you have a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Man, those final 30 laps were intense between you and Lucas Cram, but, you know, you led most laps tonight, and, you know, I gotta say, man, congratulations on this win. It was very, very hard fought at the end.
Yeah, I didn't really want a lap car to decide that one, but I mean, it was just lap cars getting away at Bristol. You know, it's just what happens. There's nowhere for them to go, so someone's gonna get screwed over by it. And this time it was Lucas. So, but looking at the, I don't know if Lucas just backed it off at the end, but the gap that we had at the end of the race kind of showed that either he lost a lot of speed or he just backed off. So something was gonna happen, even if the lap car didn't get in the way. But either way, it finished this way, and this is the way it happened.
Heading into tonight, you said last week, if I remember correctly, you said that you were feeling extremely confident, if I remember correctly, because Bristol is one of those tracks where, you know, a lot of people could easily figure out how to drive it. But, you know, with the amount of short track experience that you've had with other leagues like Nork and Laura and all that sort of stuff, do you think that that helped you out tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even SRA did some leagues here, or league races at Bristol, and that stuff helps. I mean, I don't know if you saw earlier, like, it was weird. Lucas was going really, really slow in the middle of that run. I don't know if he just burned his tires up or if he just was slowing down to not hit the wall or something. I don't know, but I pull like 7 seconds on him or something in the run, and I didn't like. I'm not that fast. It had to all be tire savings. So something happened. Either he was slowing down. I don't know. Maybe you have more insight on that, but it was crazy to see that. And I mean, tires are worth a lot here.
All right, and do you know where they're going next week? I think it was Phoenix, if I remember.
I don't know. Phoenix sounds like a good track to me, though.
All right, I'll probably ask one of them. So, again, congratulations on your win, and if I remember correctly, you won the Nork Championship, and I never had a chance to say it, but congratulations on that one.
Yeah, I did. Thank you. That one was pretty hard fought as well.
All right, and before I let you go down there, who would you like to thank for your win tonight?
MSME Media and the Shako Marie Tooth Association, my 2 sponsors.
All right, we'll send you back down there. Good job on your win tonight.
Thank you.
All right. And we'll go ahead and grab up Lucas. Lucas, this is Taylor in the booth. Do you have a copy, buddy?
Yes, I do.
Man, that's heartbreaking for a lap car to slow you up like that. But just tell us what was going through your mind, basically on that final restart.
Yeah, I knew that obviously Ben was really fast, and I knew he got a little bit damaged from when we had that little netcode incident there around like lap 70 or so. Yeah, I mean, I knew he was definitely faster than me, as you saw he even pulled away after the fact, but I felt like if I was able to hold him off, it would have been possible. I mean, he was, saving his tires so he could really get a good lawn speed run, and I was pretty much push it the entire time. So, I don't know. I mean, I can't really say anything but a negative about the 333 because, I mean, if he was going 1 lap down, it's one thing because, I mean, if you're going 1 lap down, you're racing for position and whatnot, I understand. But, I mean, when you're that slow and 115 laps down, there's no real purpose of racing or holding up leaders. And I know it's Bristol, there's not a lot of space out here, but he could have gone the apron or something. But I just wish I knew that Ben gave me room to take it. I didn't know that. So I knew we were on a pretty good finish if I was able to try to defend him there and he could try to pass me. But overall, really fun race. I was just happy I could make it after I missed the start of the race and able to finish up seconds. Good for the points and try to make the next round. So overall, good race. Congratulations to Ben on the win. We had a good battle much of the race.
All right. Do you know where they're heading into next week? If I remember correctly, it's Phoenix.
Yeah, it's Phoenix.
All right. How confident are you going into that race?
I don't know. I mean, Phoenix, the 08 version, which is where we're going, is probably one of my favorite racetracks. I really love the slickness of it and the bumpiness. I'm really good there. So I'm hopefully going to have a good shot there. I mean, if Ben shows up the race, he's going to be a huge threat, if not the main to beat there, of course. So he's really good. And as I said back at Pocono when he first raced, I said he's going to win a lot of races, and he's proving so. And I don't think I have much competition on him, so just gonna go in there, try to get a top 5, not get wrecked, obviously, and have a good points day, and that's my goal.
All right, you were heading into this race with 12 points back, and you were the highest chase contender out of tonight's race. So you'll definitely head into Phoenix with a good amount of points heading into the final race of the season. Which I believe is the week after. So, you're heading into Phoenix with a good amount of confidence because you're heading off a second place. You can easily, if you finish well, you'll be easily into the championship 4. So, we'll cheer you on from up here, and we'll see you in Phoenix.
Thank you for the broadcast.
Yep. Alright, now let's bring up third place of Michael Berry. Michael Berry, this is Taylor. Do you have a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you. How's it going?
Alright, third place tonight, not bad. Just tell us how the race was all in all.
Well, wasn't very good. We missed qualifying, so we were starting all the way back in the field. I think we started like 11th, but I think it showed us a 14th. we just kind of like, I think when I was in practice a couple days ago, and we realized we didn't really have the fastest car. Like I really wasn't going around the times that I thought I was gonna be able to get, and we end up still performing well and getting a third place finish even after doing my whole hit the wall thing.
Well, you were battling up front a little bit, just couldn't get to the lead like you could last week at Charlotte. But, third place definitely isn't too bad, especially with all the stuff that went down today with you and the wall, of course. And, sometimes with other drivers, especially with Darren Clements and Lucas Cram there near the end of the race. Just heading into Phoenix next week, how confident are you?
I'd say I'm not exactly the most confident from the races I've run there. We haven't run the best, but if this series has shown me anything to like tracks that I really am not confident, I can usually. It seems like I run well. I wasn't confident going into Charlotte, and then we come out that we were in there with the second fastest car probably, and just had a couple problems late in the race. But yeah, I'd say that we're pretty good. We're looking pretty good for Phoenix, I guess. Yeah.
All right, and who do you have to thank for your third place tonight?
Well, I'd say I'm driving for myself, so I guess I'll thank myself there, and I'd like to thank my fake sponsor in Guinness, for being a fake sponsor, and yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yep, we'll see you next week.
You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the interviews for tonight. Let's go ahead and show the results here. Final results here at Bristol Motor Speedway. The second race of round of 2 for the Slidejawb Saturday Night Late Model K10 Series, whichever they want to call it. So Ben Nelson takes home the checkered flag tonight. Lucas Cram in second, Michael Berry in third, Kane Atkins fourth, Keith Calhoun fifth, Noah Murray in sixth, Darren Clements in seventh, Jacob Tyler May in eighth, Charles Boggs in ninth, and Zach Probst in 10th. Now, before we head on else, let's go ahead and mention a couple notes here. Lucas Cram was the highest running playoff contender out of tonight's race. Second would be Kane Atkins. So Lucas Cram definitely has a little bit of a gap. I'm pretty sure he would still be below the cut line, but if he finishes extremely well, basically get the same, like he said, he wants the top 5. If he finishes in the top 5, he will more likely, unless somebody underneath him in the points heading into Phoenix wins the race, which probably won't happen if we have Ben Nelson again. So we'll see how that works out for Mr. Cram next week. And we'll go ahead and show the rest of the results here. William Amon in 11th, Tom Evans in 12th, Tina West 13th, and Ryan Joyner in 14th. Well, that'll conclude it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for tuning in to tonight's race. And as always, we will more likely see you guys next week, depending on what happens. Have a good one, everybody.